The pool party. It's something that I've been questioning and wondering about for a while, and I know that it's been talked about sporadically, but not by me. I've never sat down and put it all together the way that I want to. And now we're going to do that. So I have my ice water, all right, and I have my coffee. I'm going to be here for a minute. Let's go. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Big disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, I have been thinking about this pool party situation for a really, really long time because it's come from several different angles. There's been certain things that Reverend Donna has talked about. There's been things that people that know Bryan Kohberger have talked about when it comes to a pool party. Even with the things that I think about Bryan Kohberger in the back of my head, just given the evidence and the way that this case is being handled, it is still really, really difficult for me to see Bryan as being the guy. It just is. I'm not saying that it's not impossible. I want more than anything for them to have the right man in handcuffs. Okay, I do. I don't wish for there to be some other scary freakazoid out there that's capable of doing these things that doesn't have any sort of eyes on them whatsoever. I want them to have the right man. I really do. And that's why we're going to do this video. Now, the pool party situation, as I mentioned, it's been talked about sporadically. It's been brought up before. It was a big topic of conversation in the very beginning of Bryan Kohberger's arrest because of what his neighbor said.
After the pair were first introduced last summer, Martinez invited Kohberger to a pool party, and they saw each other occasionally after that. Martinez and his wife were also interviewed by the FBI.
He was invited to a pool party, was super ecstatic and excited about the invitation, and he went, and he even thanked him afterwards. Now we have this interview that came out. This is one from somebody who was also at the pool party that Bryan talked to in passing. You're going to see the way that this man describes his interaction with Bryan the next time he saw Bryan, because it is a bit odd.
He did seem pretty kind of just socially awkward and kind of hard to carry a conversation with, if I remember correctly. But besides that, he mainly just stood to the side and was really observant, and so much so that based on that one small interaction, he knew exactly who I was maybe a month or so later when I saw him on that hike. It was really weird how he approached me and the people that I was with, because he acted kind of like we were best friends, or it was like a reunion or something, and he was really excited to see us, and I had no idea really who he was right at that second. I did speak to the FBI at one point. I do believe that they spoke to a lot of people that were at that party. It may be because that was one of his very first times, if not his first time in Moscow.
He barely even recognized him. He barely even recognized that he had met this guy before. And Bryan came up to him, called him by his name, acted as if they were buddy-buddy. He was all ecstatic and happy to see him like a puppy dog whenever his owner gets home. That's a bit strange. It is. For a grown-ass man, that type of behavior is a bit odd. Now, I do think that maybe, just maybe, Kohberger has a touch of autism. Okay. When I was really big in karaoke, I had a karaoke buddy that I'd sing duets and stuff with, and he was in Afghanistan. Like, he fought in Afghanistan, and he had Asperger's, and it was noticeable. There were certain things where you could just tell that he was definitely on the spectrum, okay? But he was intelligent, he was smart, and he defended our country, all right? So just because somebody has Asperger's doesn't make them incapable, but it also means that their thought processes are different, and the way that they behave is a bit different. So that's just how I'm seeing Bryan based off of what I've learned. There's a lot of traits that are very, very recognizable. And again, I could be wrong. It's just something that I've noticed. Now, one of the other interesting parts about this is that Reverend Donna, and again, guys, I don't know if the way that I feel about religion is like the reason why I can't really get too hardcore into stuff like this, because with religion comes like spirits and all of those things. And so when it comes to psychics talking to spirits after people have died, it just like relates to religion to me. And so maybe that's why I have a lot of issues with like fully believing a lot of stuff that I hear, honestly. And I've never personally witnessed anything awesome. Okay. So I'm one of those people, you got to see it to believe it, because I'm no fool. All right. So I'm just going to leave that there. But not only, in my opinion, did Reverend Donna say a couple of things before Bryan was arrested that really caught my attention, but she's also mentioned this pool party. Before I play you what I found when it came to Donna's reading on the pool party situation, I'm going to play you what she recorded like a month and a half before Bryan Kohberger was arrested. And I'm going to break it up in segments again. This is an edited version. I took what I needed to make the point, and the link will be in the description box if you have not already heard this. Now, this has like 443,000 views on it. So, on the off chance that one of you guys have not heard this, and this is going to be the first time, I do implore you to click the link and go listen to the entire thing. Now, I am playing very specific parts for reasons. It's not cherry picking. It's not cherry picking whatsoever. And you're going to see exactly why it's not cherry picking. Okay. But all of this is going to be in here for a reason. And I want you guys to just pay very close attention to the description that Donna gives in this clip.
Okay, they're showing me one of the blonde girls now. I can tell them apart a little bit. I think it's the one that has a little rounder face. They're just showing me her, but we're walking somewhere. We're in the main street area of that little town. I'm seeing a guy talking to her, and he's quite a bit taller. I mean, she sits on a bench, or it really feels like if there's a tree, and I'm getting chills on my legs, if there's a tree that has a bench surrounding the tree, like, you know how they put those half round benches around trees sometimes? He's taller, and I think he might like her. He's like trying to talk to her. And this is not at night, so this is not at the time it happened. This is sometime in the day of some day. Now I'm seeing the hooded guy by the truck, but I don't think it's that guy. Like, I'll just wait and see. I don't think it's that guy that they're showing me, because this guy seems like he has like if he was like 6 feet tall or something like that, a bigger build. And she's not really interested in him because she's like kind of, I don't know if short is the word, but she's not super tall, like, so he's trying to talk to her, strike up a conversation about school. So they're bringing me to this conversation still. So she's sitting there. She seems like she's waiting for something. So I don't know if she's waiting for a ride, or maybe she just felt like sitting there for a minute. It doesn't feel like she knows him. It doesn't feel like she's super interested in talking to him. She's definitely not interested in going out with him. Oh, he has brown hair. In fact, he looks different than the one that got killed, but he's larger size like that. And his hair is a little bit, it might have a wave in it, and it's thick, and he might be a little older. Okay, I have chills about that. He's a little older. So she doesn't totally believe, she's like wondering if he really even goes to college or not or something. He's wearing a black sweatshirt or hoodie or black. And I know the guy in the food truck is wearing a dark one too or whatever, but I'm trying to separate the two. Yeah, when I said I try to separate the two, I get energy in my legs, which is usually like a confirmation, like, yeah, separate the two. Now I'm seeing someone with really red hair. This is different than one that was talking to her when she really wasn't interested in talking to him.
Now pay attention to the fact that I left something in there about the fact that she is also seeing a redheaded person. Now this is not pointing at anybody. It is just literally, from what I'm interpreting, her mind going back and forth and fading back and forth into certain things. I don't know why it's doing that, but whenever you hear the pool party situation, you're going to see why I left this part in here. And if you guys have been paying attention to what I have been pulling from documents, the PCA, well, not the PCA, the exhibits for the PCA, what I've been pulling from the ICR rules whenever it comes to there being a possible co-defendant, the fact that they keep, vehicle number 1, there should not be a numeral behind suspect vehicle if there really was only one. And this is just based off of what they're telling us. I'm not making crap up. I'm not delusional. I'm not freaking crazy. It is literally based off of what the police and the courts are giving us and the rules in which they cite while they're giving this to us. So just keep that in mind whenever you hear the pool party part.
It's either a pastry place, French pastries, French bread. They keep showing me French bread all over and over and over again. I'm getting the chills again. So I think that's the main clue. and the round bench around the tree. Bagels, baguettes, French bread.
Now, most of you are probably confused as to why I would put that part in there, but this is why. This is why. Now, a lot of this stuff, from what I'm understanding, is metaphoric. Not all of it is exact, and I know that Donna appreciates that fact as well. So whenever it came to them talking about a foreign type bread and keep going back to bread, this is why. Bryan's last name is Kohberger. Kohberg Bread Company is a Danish bread company that does pastries and all kinds of other things. Let's see. Let's just take a look and just get hungry because, you can say what you want. We all love us some bread, all right? Look at this. Look at all these different breads. Look at all of it. Bakery in a bag breads, different sandwich breads, Danish pastries. Anything with cinnamon will kill me. Yeah, I'm allergic to cinnamon. Isn't that crazy? But I will eat some Danishes with some cream cheese, though. Look at all this. Rye, organic, corn, carrot rolls. Okay, this was a month and a half prior to his arrest. Now, I'm only showing you guys this because I need you guys to understand the reasoning why, for this situation, for this pool party situation, I am including something that you guys know that I am a very big skeptic of. And Donna herself is very aware that I am a skeptic. I have commented on her stuff before. She's commented on my stuff before. She knows that I am fascinated as hell by the kind of things that she ends up seeing and telling us that she is seeing, but I'm a skeptical person. Again, you guys know this. This is not a new thing. I've said this a million times. So I wanted you guys to see, what about her sight so early before his arrest has me hooked on what she has to say here. But there's also a very, very, very important reason why the whole situation about what she sees with the pool party is so important to me. And I'm not trying to stick to my own narrative here, okay? In the end, it doesn't freaking matter. In the end, the only thing that matters is the truth. Whether it be Bryan and Bryan alone, not Bryan at all, Bryan and somebody else, 20 people involved, it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, duh, that's why we're all here. But in the end, only the truth actually matters. Now, like I mentioned, you guys know how I feel like there has to be somebody else involved for many different reasons. Many different reasons. This was on January 4th that she posted this. The phone call that she had where she did this whole reading thing was on January the 3rd. And the clips from the neighbor about the pool party that I played for you earlier, the link for that full video where both of those men are talking is also going to be in the description box. But you guys, that one, let's see, where did I have it? Right here. That one wasn't posted until 3 months later, March 15th. Okay, so like 2.5-ish months later. So her video talking about the pool party, January 4th. The information coming out in the Law and Crime Network episode about the situation where they had the neighbor come on and the neighbor was like, oh yeah, I invited him to a pool party, March 15th. I'm just saying.
Now Kaylee's showing me. It's like I feel like she's wearing a bathing suit, but it feels like there's like a big party. Feels like a big pool party. Because there's like a huge pool and just massive people or whatever. But she's still there, which means there's something about it she wants to say. It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. It could be in Idaho. It could be anywhere. So I don't know where it is, but it's definitely a huge swimming pool and massive young people around. Kaylee feels more intensely there's something about this. There's something here that's important. Something occurred here. It's a feeling of somebody who was there there might be some connection of something or something that she wants known. I wanted to assume it's this Bryan person. And I got chills on my leg, spirit energy. So it's not about him, but I'll just like warn you, there could be like some person peripheral related to the course of events that happened. And I don't even know if the person's guilty of doing anything like concrete, but sometimes it's just a course of events or something like that. But she gives me a sick feeling. So it's like, she could be trying to tell me there's someone there. And it feels like that person could be peripherally related to all this. It's related. I'm not the one to even judge, like, was this guy there? I have a feeling it's like a different guy. But you know, if suddenly we hear in the news like, oh, he happened to be there, then that's what it is. But if it's the friends will know. That's all I know. The friends will know. The friends who were there know that there's no way they could not know. This happened at the pool, and Kaylee was really bothered by it, so she definitely would have told her friends. And Kaylee's getting the energy is dark. I think she'll tell me after. Like that's probably whatever she usually tell me. Like she's like it's some dark energy. Not her being dark, but yeah, she's showing me some horrible stuff, and it's somehow related. And I'm not saying that it's like boom boom, but it's she's showing me a lot of blood, and she's showing me the pool party in the background. I guess that's the way I would say it.
So to me, the trending situation, the trending theme in what I'm hearing is that even though Donna is seeing someone who looks like Bryan, she is describing Bryan, in my opinion, to a freaking T a month and a half before his arrest, but also fading in and out of seeing someone else, someone with red hair. Now, I want to put a huge emphasis, okay, on the fact that whenever she's starting to see Jack Showalter, she's also telling herself, or whatever she's speaking to, whatever is giving her this insight, is telling her to separate the two, showing that Jack has nothing to do with anything. Jack S has nothing to do with anything. Separate him from the scenario. While she is still seeing another person fading in and out of what she is seeing, that is Bryan. Okay. Same situation sort of here with the pool party. Donna, because she at this point, this was a few days after Bryan's arrest. Okay. Remember, the pool party thing was posted like on January 4th, recorded and done on the 3rd, and posted on the 4th. That's literally just a handful of days after Bryan Kohberger's arrest. She not only is describing wanting to see Bryan because now at this point she knows who he is and that he's matched what she has seen before, but it's not letting her. The message that she's getting is that it's something sort of on the side of that, and it had nothing directly to do with Bryan. Now, I've had a lot of people in the comments telling me that it's already been proven that Bryan and Kaylee were not at the same pool party. And that's a very big possibility. And hopefully by the end of this video, I've come to a better conclusion on that, because there's still a couple of more things we're going to go through here. Touch DNA doesn't mean a damn thing. Bryan Kohberger could have been hanging out with this guy, maybe even dropped him off somewhere in the neighborhood, okay? And then his DNA ends up on a knife sheath. That's very possible here. We don't know for sure. And I have already said this a million times. I'm just going to say it again. The only thing that matters here is the truth. My brain is taking what we are being told by the police, what we are being told when it comes to the differences in the descriptions of the wounds, the timing of the situation, the fact that there was some surprise stuff going on that night that would have thrown anybody else that had some sort of like intricately planned out plan completely off. Okay, we've got the DoorDash, we have Kaylee's weird ass Range Rover being in the parking lot. And just for those of you who might want to argue with me about it being on social media, no, because how could she have planned to drive down to surprise Maddie if it was on her social media? If it was on her social media, it wouldn't be a surprise now, would it? And honestly, I have been under the firm belief that whatever vehicle they're claiming in the PCA exhibits is moving around the neighborhood at all these times, that vehicle that they are claiming is suspect vehicle number 1 is moving around the neighborhood, as all of the noises Dylan is hearing are going on inside of the house, per what the cops are saying. There's a reason for that. Now, there's a bunch of different theories I've had in my mind when it could be a double person situation, to where Bryan Kohberger might not have actually physically done anything at all, but still been a very intricate part in it. You know, sort of like Gypsy Rose and Nick, just maybe a little bit difference of circumstances. So before I show you the messages, because these messages between Brett Norton and Steve Goncalves, they're the main reason why I wanted to get this together. It's taken me 2 days to get everything together. I mentioned it in the community post that I was going to be doing this because of the messages. And of course, there's people in there saying they're not real, it's a fake account, and that's all based on the fact that the Goncalveses came out and said that there was somebody saying that they were going to be lying about Steve and blah, blah, blah. We've talked about this, okay? You guys also know that if you've been here for a while, that I've told you 1,000 times how many of us knew about the Paramount series and knew about Brett Norton working with Steve Goncalves and working with JLR and working with all of them before it ever was public. We knew all of this. You guys know all of this. None of this was secret. And it all basically blew up and came out publicly to everyone out here around the time that Linda Lane dropped. That's really what kind of like blew their cover, because it became such a like sensationalized part of the crap that they were trying to pull that they slipped up. Like whenever Brett Norton said on her live that Steve sent her that screenshot of that other house view to show that they had better footage and that the audio and stuff on Linda Lane didn't match up nothing to what they already had, that they knew that was legit, that was a mistake. She tried to cover it up and play it cool, but she was never supposed to let that slip. And because it was a live, she couldn't fix it. It was too late. And I showed you that. I've got it clipped on my channel. Go find the videos. They're all there. She can't deny this. He can't deny this, okay? But what I want to show you is the profiles. Because there's people saying it's not his profile. Why does it say Gonzo Goncalves? Well, because that's just the freaking name that the weirdo chose on his profile, okay? I don't know. Look. 2021 Father's Day. 2021 August of Olivia getting married. Then we've got the baby, the grandbaby. And then we've got JD and Kaylee from back in 2017. Look, all right? Look. This was changed back in 2014. All right? This was him. This is his actual profile. All right? Now, if you look on this picture of Christy, look at the date on this. 2014. This has been the profile picture on here for a decade. He's never changed it. Never changed it. And look at this. This picture, 2013. He's never changed it. He's never changed it. Now, they've privatized it because he doesn't want everybody coming in here looking at his stuff, because he knows damn well people are, okay? But this is his freaking account. Look how old this stuff is. 2013. Look at all this. Look at this. Look at this, okay? And then you click on her account and look at this. All right, this is her account. This is her account. I mean, seriously. I mean, I understand why people are skeptical about certain things, but all you have to do is go look yourself. And you can see that these are like the legit profiles. All of this is coming from the legit profiles. Now, I'm not going to go through all these messages. All right. I'll have the link for the Google Drive. And then I will have a link to a channel called, I think it's Character Analysis. They have it like in a 2.5 minute long, like scrolly mabobber thing. Okay. I'm only going to show you guys where the pool party stuff is mentioned. That's it. I'm not going over anything else of this right now until I do more digging on what is being said. But right now, again, just the party stuff. On June the 7th is the first time that Brat asks Steve if he knows anything about the pool party. And it says, "Hey, Steve, I hate asking you this, but I feel I should ask the source instead of speculating on it. Do you know if Kaylee and or Maddie were at a pool party on July 9th? And July 9th is how, the reason why we know it's July 9th is because of the text messages that we saw between the neighbor and Bryan. We see him let him know the address. Bryan saying he has to go and get some swim trunks. And then we see him on the 10th thanking him, saying it was an experience or something like that. Okay. Kohberger attended this pool party with his friend Christian Martinez, and I can't find anything on this pool party, but I ponder who was there, if the girls were or weren't, and possibly anyone else. Okay. He says he's going to see and he'll let her know. Almost 1.5 million screenshots later, the pool party gets brought back up. Okay. It says, "I have pics from the pool party I can send to you so you can compare." Okay. And this is Brat talking to Steve. Steve then says it was some indoor pool party, I think at a hotel-like location. Christy has the photo. And this is where Brat responds, "Not at the pool party then. BK was at the Grove, an outdoor apartment complex party. Check on the photo, please, just whenever you have time. We're trying to link. We're trying to figure out a connection. We need a connection." And I mean, yeah, that's like one of the biggest problems. Steve then responds, I just show a single photo, all the kids together, and it was inside. Kaylee and Maddie might have been Jack also. I can get it. I was just pissed at Christy because I just asked about a pool party and she said, didn't know. Then she shows me a effing pool pics and I was like, what the F, babe? I don't know. Now, this is not related to this, but this is related to something that we've talked about and something else that I have wanted to dig into a lot deeper, which is Kaylee's LinkedIn. Notice, it's mentioned here. When it comes to what this person, which is Steve, is claiming they have seen that Bryan is linked to Kaylee on, he's claiming Instagram, which we've yet to see verified proof of. We've yet to see verified proof of. But then he's also claiming LinkedIn as well, and then states they took Kaylee's down. Now, I do have questions about that statement being in this. I do, because whenever Chronicles of Olivia did the interview and stuff with Olivia, that was so freaking early on. You know what? I'm going to stop right now and get the date. Wow. Okay. I mean, it's interesting. The video where we are told and shown all about how Kaylee's LinkedIn was gone literally within like 12 hours of the 911 call, which is why it was so freaking weird. Okay. It was weird because it was almost instant. It was literally almost instant. It was before the word had even really spread that much. It was before this was like a real situation that the whole world knew about. It was really early on that they're claiming that this LinkedIn situation happened. The video from Chronicles of Olivia was posted on December 29th of 22. That's literally just hours before they would announce they'd arrested Bryan Kohberger. But this was also prior to the announcement of the arrest. You know what I mean? So hella freaking close, but still prior. And that really almost makes you want to really believe that, man. Because if he really thought that he had like gotten away with it and he was trying to cover his tracks and he's well versed in cloud-based forensics, don't you think that he would know how to like go in and delete things from the ether? To me, he would. Which is why to me, I'm like, you can't be this stupid and this smart, because from what we're understanding, he should know how to do all these things. So if he was somehow linked to Kaylee's LinkedIn, and it's being something that's been a conversation that the family has known about, and it's a question that they've had, especially knowing what happened to Kaylee's LinkedIn, and now they're claiming, oh, they took it down, or did Bryan? Because for it to have been done so quickly after the 911 call, it would have had to have been the suspect if it was a link. And it would have had to have been someone who knew how to do that. And maybe, I don't know how all this hacking crap works, okay? But maybe if this is the situation, maybe the account had to be like literally taken offline completely in order for it to be scrubbed of any links it had to anything related to Bryan Kohberger or anyone else that could be related to him in the situation, but just scrubbed before it was put back up. That's a great possibility, man. Wow. Now, the last thing that we're going to go over, I know a lot of you guys already know about. This is apparently details from people that were at the pool party where Bryan Kohberger actually was. And now, it doesn't seem... at this point, I really am in full understanding that they were not at the exact same pool party. Now, this was summertime, so it's very possible that they were at a pool party at the exact same time and just not the exact same pool party, or that maybe Steve Goncalves has the date wrong. Regardless, we aren't seeing anything of them claiming to know exactly where the pool party was that Kaylee was at, but it sounds as if wherever Bryan was, he was getting attention. He was able to get phone numbers from women. So we're going to read this, okay? We're going to read this because a lot of people just don't like the way that it sounds because it doesn't fit how they want it to go. And that goes both ways, okay? I don't really care for how this sounds because I have so many issues with this case, but that doesn't mean that there's not some truth to it. We can't just sit back and act as if every little thing that comes out in this case is false or has some sort of ulterior motive. Okay, it's not every little thing. And I think that that's why the internet gets so freaking ridiculous whenever it comes to these cases, is because everyone wants to see something wrong in every little thing the very second that one thing doesn't make sense. And that's not how it works. That's not how this works at all. So we're going to go over this. I'm going to read this to you. I was going to play the interview from the DJ guy from the pool party, but all of that is like in this. So I'm just going to read it. Okay. It goes on to talk about the pool party. After it talks about how Bryan Kohberger's dad asked his neighbor to, like, be his friend, which nobody seems to have like a big problem with that part. So I don't know why people have issues with like the rest of it. Anyway, basically, it goes on to state that they were just shooting the shit, having, a normal conversation, a normal time, but that he was definitely one serious dude. Nice enough, though. Okay, nice enough, though. At one point, it says that Kohberger walked up to the DJ booth and was talking, I guess, to the DJ. It says he was asking me about my speakers and all kinds of technical stuff. But he had this way about him. Those people who just don't understand personal space. He was one of them. He'd get real close. It was off-putting. And that matches what the friend, well, not the friend, but what the other party guy, the one with the long, long black hair, it matches what he says about how he saw him and was just like super excited to see him, remembered his name, acted as if they were hella close whenever they're not. Yeah. And it kind of goes back to the whole Asperger's thing. All right. Eventually, he had to tell Kohberger he was busy DJing and that he would talk to him later. Well, then it says that Kohberger then walked over by the pool and suddenly he jumped up without warning and approached a girl in a black thong bikini with pink hair and a tattoo on her left thigh. That's what that comment meant. Okay. Then Kohberger, after only a brief conversation, asked her for her phone number and he got it. Okay. Then apparently he asked the girl's friend for her number too, and he got that number too. So I don't see, just from this, how this helps the mainstream's narrative, which is why I don't understand why so many people act as if this is a shit story. Okay, they're trying to tell us that Bryan Kohberger is some sort of incel that can't get laid, can't get a woman to save his life, is basically what they're trying to say, all right? But he just literally grabbed not just 2 phone numbers, but friends. These girls were friends, and he flirted with each one of them in front of the other one, and somehow there was no jealousy factor. They seemed to be quite impressed by his confidence, and they both gave him their phone numbers. This story does not match mainstream media's incel theory. So why are so many people out there that want to believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent think this story is bullshit? I know several of you are still watching this video, so please in the comments, help me understand. Now, the weird part is that they say that Kohberger never reached out to them, but that they both got a bunch of hang-up calls, which is weird and honestly matches the type of behavior that you would see from someone who's psychotic, okay? Not someone who's actively trying to pick up a girl and actually take somebody home, just go around sleeping with people or anything else. It sounds like he could have if he wanted. He got 2 girls' phone numbers. So he can't be an incel. He can't be mad at the fact that he's not able to get laid if this is a true story. If this is a true story, how does it fit? It doesn't. So yeah. We are now at the end of everything that I have put together in order to try to figure all of this out. And I'm not really any closer to anything, guys. I'm really not. Because even though I can see how it could possibly be Bryan, I'm still not seeing the concrete connection that I need to see. And that's the one thing that me and Brett Norton obviously agree on, is that the public needs to see a connection, and we just don't have one. And to me, if they had something stronger than the touch DNA evidence, it would have been presented, in the charging documents. Why wouldn't you have done that? If you actually had him on video camera walking in and out of the house, if you actually had something more concrete when it came to all of the surveillance, why wouldn't you have put something more concrete in the charging documents? Never once in any of those documents does it state that it is Bryan Kohberger getting out of a white Elantra on whatever road. Not once does it state anything about it specifically being Bryan in that car doing anything at all. Except for coffee shop, Albertsons, all the things. But when it comes to the actual timeline of events of the crime, it's all suspect and suspect vehicle number 1 and things that were heard in the night. There's nothing specific saying that it was him at the time of the crime. Now, when it comes to what Donna saw, I feel like it's important because the pool situation has been a situation for a while. And there's a possibility that maybe we just don't know publicly about the pool party that they maybe might have come across each other at. I mean, I know what the neighbor says, okay, but he doesn't know Bryan's life 24/7. He doesn't really know what Bryan was doing, who else he was making plans with, where else he was going. Yeah, it said in the text messages that he was going to have to go and buy some swimming trunks, but who says that was the last time that he actually used them? Okay, that was July. There were several months left of pool weather before the situation and before, all the pool party invitations would have stopped. So there's really no telling where this could have happened. And there's also no telling when exactly Donna's vision is telling her that this person who fit Bryan's description, like literally down to a freaking T, when that happened. We just know it was during the day sometime. During the day sometime. And while, yes, the Friendship Square Park area down Main Street next to where the Mad Greek and all that stuff was has the types of benches that she's seeing, there's other places too. And we also have to remember that there was a while before the incident that Kaylee was living back at home, in Coeur d'Alene, not in Moscow. So there's that too. This is the thing. This is everything that the public is being told. The public sees all of this because we are the public. We see what is on the mainstream. We see what is being talked about in the dark. And then we have to try to wade through it all. And it can make you feel a little bit crazy. It can keep you up at night trying to figure it out because it's just so heinously, ridiculously dramatic that there's no way it can be real. There's no way that it's this ridiculously complicated. There's no way that 4 lives can get taken in like an 8 to 10 minute period, no one hear anything, and all that's left behind is something that the cops haven't even verified belonged to the weapon that goes, along with the wounds, because they haven't. You can't get killed with a knife sheath. You can't. And the cops have come out and given us various descriptions about the wounds. None of it has ever been verified to have been wounds to a blade that matches the blade that would fit into that knife sheath. And the fact that it was just touch DNA way deep down in the crevices of hell doesn't make any sense either. It would be mixed and just all kinds of disgusting from the way that we've heard the crime scene was, that there's no way that little dust particle DNA would have been honestly extractable if the damn thing was like drenched in blood. But if it wasn't drenched in blood and that was way deep down in there, that's even more questionable to me. And I don't know how anyone can sit back and think that that's not odd as hell, okay? So even as I sit here and I'm trying to see Bryan as the guy, I know you're seeing it. You see it, don't you? You see me trying here. You see me. I'm doing it openly for you to see that I am not tunnel visioned. I'm not biased. I'm trying to really figure this out. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense to the families. It doesn't make sense to anyone who's gotten any sort of insight. And it seems like the second that we get a little bit of something, it does the opposite of what it really should do. Instead of it making things make more sense, it just makes more questions. Questions that we are going to have to wait forever to get answered. And yeah, sure, we aren't owed anything, but guess what? The family finds shit out the same time that we do. So for me to say it sucks that we can't know anything and that we have a gag order and we're not allowed to know any details, that means it sucks a million times worse for the families. So, was there a pool party that maybe these two met at? Maybe. Maybe it's just not the ones that we're seeing dates for. Maybe it's just something that we don't know about. But these party guests at this pool party, I highly doubt the FBI would just be talking to them because it was a random ass pool party that didn't have anything to do with anything. I doubt it. Now, is it possible? Is it possible that maybe one of the other people living in the house was at this exact same party? Maybe. Maybe somebody else in the house interacted with Bryan at that party. Maybe one of the surviving roommates. Who knows, really, right? Or it could be one of their friends. It could be somebody that they know. It could be. There's a reason why the feds got involved in that pool party invite list and started asking questions. I guess we'll find out eventually. But that's it, you guys. My brain is frazzled. It really is. Because I really sat here thinking that I was going to come out of all of this research with something more concrete in my mind. All I know is that there's some sort of involvement with this man somehow. There has to be for this to make sense. He would have to legitimately know something worth the wait. I guess that's really the only way that I can put it. But that is it, you guys. If you like the way that I tried to present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to hit the like on the way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. Go out and do some good today. See y'all.